love a good party. After a long week of school, or work, or even both, you just want to let go of all that stress, dance to some good music, and enjoy your night with your friends. And that feeling is exactly the essence of LMFAO, the dance electro pop duo that had a huge impact in the party scene in the early 2010s. Bonjour my loves, I hope you're doing well, I hope you're doing fine. So in today's episode, I will talk about the history of LMFAO, their impact. Where are they now in 2025? Can they be back? Maybe? Who knows? So grab a snack, a drink, and let's dive into their history. LMFAO began their career in 2006 as a part of the electro house club scene in Los Angeles, which at the time featured the DJ and producer Steve Aoki and Adam Goldstein. The duo consisting of revoir, which his real name is Stephen Kendall Gordy, and his nephew Sky Blue, which his real name is Skylar Austin Gordy, started building a local buzz through their shows and their radio play. Once they recorded some demos, revoirs best friend will.i.am helped them to get signed with Interscope and of course with will.i.am Music, his record label. According to revoir and Sky Blue, they were originally gonna call themselves Sexy Dudes, but they changed their name to LMFAO because once they told Sky Blue's grandmother that their name is going to be Sexy Dude, their grandmother just said LMFAO. This is so cute. Like, I think it's so adorable when you come up with like a stage name, or in this case a group name, because a family member or a friend of yours just randomly said something and you're like, yeah, that's it, that will be our names. It's adorable. LMFAO released Party Rock EP on the iTunes Music Store on July 1st, 2008 and released their full album on July 7th, 2009. The album charted at number 33 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the US dance chart. So from 2010 and 2012, it's their international breakthrough because in 2010, LMFAO were featured in a David Guetta song called Getting Over You, which was an international hit, peaking in the top 10 of 11 different countries, and at number 1 in 3 of them. The duo then recorded their second studio album called Sorry for Party Rocking late in 2010 and released it on June 17, 2011. The first single from that album was Party Rock Anthem, which was released on January 25th, 2011, and it showcases the Melbourne Shuffle dance style in the music video, and the song became the most successful song of their career, peaking at number 1 in the United States, Canada, the UK, as well as being in the top 10 charts of many other countries. Like, that's insane. I remember I was 10 years old, I was in 5th grade, and Party Rock was like the song of the year. Like, everyone was listening to that song. It was just good times. And it was a couple months later, on March 11, where they released the music video for Party Rock Anthem, which has now over 2 billion views on YouTube. This is insane. And they also released another single called Sexy and I Know It. I'm sexy and I know it. Dun, 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 dun. That will become a karaoke song. I forgot how good this song was. It was released on October 3rd, 2011 and reached number 1 on the iTunes chart worldwide and number 1 on the Australian and Canadian Hot 100. Unfortunately, on September 21st, 2012, the duo announced a hiatus. revoir stated, "I feel like we've been doing this for so long, 4 or 5 years, and that he and Sky Blue would not be performing together anytime soon as they will be taking their careers in different directions." However, Sky Blue says otherwise, and it's kind of like a little bit of drama, not to say a lot of drama in this family. In 2016, TMZ reported that Sky Blue said that the duo actually broke up because revoir refused to share their LMFAO royalties, and Sky Blue also accused revoir of stealing the LMFAO brand, which is kind of true because I've looked in today's Instagram, like in 2025, like almost 13 years after the hiatus in 2012. I've looked and Red Foo is like still like party rock vibes era, and it's like, don't get me wrong, if I ever get a number one song on the charts, you better wish that I will still talk about it 14, 13 years later. But like publicly on Instagram, and like almost all your captions are like party rock life forever, and you're like over 45 years old with so much people. Like, I don't want to, it sounds so like ageism of me, but like I don't know even, but it's like, it's kind of shady because you're not even like paying your nephew his like part of royalties. Like, that's insane. I think that's why it's icky to me. Sky Blue also talked about their label Interscope, saying that it needs to stop treating artists like cows and chickens and using them for all they can produce and then just discard them without a care. Unfortunately, this narrative of labels mistreating their artists isn't new, and it's still going on strong in 2025. Just recently in the 2025 Grammy Awards, when Chappell Roan won for Best New Artist, she dedicated her speech. It was so fucking inspiring and impactful for her to talk about this issue in such a mainstream event as the Grammys. She said, talking about the labels, I told myself that if I ever won a Grammy and got to stand up here in front of the most powerful people in music, I would demand that labels in the industry profiting millions of dollars off of artists would offer a livable wage and healthcare, especially developing artists. It was devastating to feel so committed to my art and feel so betrayed by the system and dehumanized. If my label had prioritized it, I could have provided care for a company I was giving everything to. Record labels needs to treat their artists as valuable employees with a livable wage and health insurance and protection. She ate, left no crumbs. Iconic. And it's unfortunately that this narrative is still going strong, like I said, nowadays, and it's sad that Sky Blue felt that way. And if you're wondering, because that statement of Sky Blue was in 2016, I was like trying to see like, what's up? Is Red Foo and Sky Blue like still friends? Were they able to make truce and like have peace? Because at the end of the day, they're still like family, you know? And I tried to like find some information to see if Sky Blue and Red Foo are good in 2025, and after doing some research, I found that they don't even follow each other on Instagram, and I was like, okay, they're still beefing. And honestly, at Sky Blue's place, I would have done the fucking same. What do you mean you're not giving my money? You're my uncle, you're my father's brother, like. And just for fun, I did a little like, what if one day they have a comeback? I personally don't think so. This is what I would do, and this will be my approach for them. Again, I'm no one. I'm just spending way too much time on TikTok, and I have a true passion for music. So after looking at Red Foo's project that he released after LMFAO's hiatus, I see that he still hasn't let go of the LMFAO brand, like I've said, like the neon colors, mentioning party rock anthem every time that he can, making similar sound music to LMFAO, which is insane. Like, that's so shady to your nephew. Anyways, I would honestly tell him, Red Foo, you gotta stop. That was 15 years ago. You can move on. Let's try a different sound. Let's try a different aesthetic. Let's try it all. Let's try something new. And if they ever decide to have a comeback, I would tell them to still stay in the same genre of music, which is electro pop, but have a similar sound to kind of The Weeknd when he did the song Moth to a Flame with Swedish House Mafia. Like, you know the song that they played in Maxton Hall? And he seems like he's good for you, and all your friends say he's the one, but doesn't love you. Da, 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 da. Anyways, I will delete that. I think that it would be so nice if LMFAO like reach more to that sound, or even like kind of Dua Lipa in her song Houdini with the dark disco pop elements of it all, you know, with the bass dun, 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 dun. Houdini, like the instrumental could be so cool if we hear LMFAO go towards more of that dark electro pop. I feel it will be so fucking cool. Even more knowing that electropop nowadays is like much more on the map than it was before. Mainly due to Miss Charlie XCX with her album Brat. So I feel like it would just follow the trends of pop if they do something like that. And it could be like in the vibes of like, and the themes of like, after the party is over and you're like all sobered up and you have like this whole headache and you barely remember the party the night before, the mistakes that you've done, the things that you said that you shouldn't have said, filled with like angst and anxiety of like, oh my god, did I fuck this up like in front of like my crush, or like, it sounds so mean what I'm about to say, but I feel like that's too deep of a concept for LMFAO, who like, I'm sexy and I know it, dun, 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 dun. Like, I don't expect them to talk about anxiety. If they did, I would be the first one to listen and to tell people go listen to it. But I feel like that's a reach for me to expect LMFAO to talk about anxiety and stress and angst and all of that. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they won't ever have a comeback, but it doesn't mean that their songs weren't bops. It doesn't mean that they didn't have such a huge impact in the music, in the party scene. Like, even nowadays, like when I go somewhere and I unexpectedly hear an LMFAO song, I just like get so happy and nostalgic, because when I was young, like this song was so bopping. Like this song was everywhere and it was just an overall like feel good songs. Like you can never cry listening to LMFAO, and if you do, I would pray for you. So on that note, I hope you had more information on like LMFAO. Maybe if you're like younger and you just had no clue on who they were, I hope that you'll add them to your playlist, their old songs. So on that note, I hope you have a beautiful night of sleep. I hope you don't party too much. I hope that you fucking respect consent. And I hope you have a beautiful night of sleep. I love you. Take care. And you must know I'm so sexy. And I know it. I hate myself.